The equation of a line given the slope and the intercept. A useful form of straight line equations is the slope-intercept form, and it looks like this: y equals mx plus b. And we call it slope-intercept because m is going to be the slope. If we pull that number out that's multiplied by the x, it's the slope, and b provides us with the y-intercept. The y-intercept is an ordered pair, and it takes this form 0, b. If you can identify the slope and the y-intercept, you can write an equation for the line. You can also graph that line, and we'll do that as well. So for each problem, plot the given y-intercept on the graph, use the slope to find a second and a third point on the same graph, and then connect the dots and draw a line, and the very last step, write the equation for the line. And we'll use the y equals mx plus b form to help us with that. First thing, on problem 1, my y-intercept is 0, 1. So I want to make sure I plot 0, 1. So it's 0 in the x direction, 1 in the y direction. It puts me right there. Now, from there, I have a slope of 3. So I want to write that as a fraction. So 3 over 1. And then remember, if I multiply that by -1 over itself, I'll get another form of the slope, which will be -1 times the 3, so -3, and then -1 times 1, or -1. And that gives me two forms of my slope to use. Remember, slope gives us rise over run. So for the first slope, the 3 over 1, I'll do 3 for the rise, 1, 2, 3 for the rise, and 1 for the run. And they're both positive, so I'm going up and to the right. Second point, go back to my original y-intercept, and then I want to use -3 over -1 for the rise and the run. So from here, -3, so that's 1, 2, 3, and -1, so I'm going to the left this time. Now I've got my 3 points, so now I can graph my line. Make sure you put the arrows on both ends of your line. And then the last step, part D, we want to write the equation for this line. So I know that it's going to look like y equals mx plus b. I also know that my m is my slope, or a 3, and my b is the y part of the y-intercept, so that's going to be a +1. And you can see that right here. Remember, the form of the y-intercept is 0, b. And so my b is a 1. So I just plug those in. Y equals 3x plus 1. And there's the equation for my line that I graphed. For the second one, I have a y-intercept of 0, 4. So I'm going to plot that first. 0 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the y direction. And then my slope is -2. So I'm going to think of that as being over 1 to make it into a fraction. And then I'm going to think about multiplying the numerator and the denominator by a negative. And that's going to make the numerator a +2 and the denominator a -1. Now I have two forms of my slope to use with my y-intercept. So from my y-intercept, I'm going to go, the first one is -2, 1. Remember, that's rise over run. So -2 in the y direction and a +1 in the x direction. So a run, a -2 for my rise, a +1 for my run. Back to my y-intercept, and I need to take a 2 and a -1. So a rise of 2, 1, 2, and a run of -1, so going to the left. So this one heads off in the opposite direction, and I kind of expected that because the slope is a negative number. And make sure to put your arrows on each end because the line does go on in both directions. And then we want to write the equation for this line. So we have y equals mx plus b, and our m was our slope, so it's a -2, and our b is the y part. Remember, it's 0, b, so the y part of our y-intercept, so b is 4. And then when I plug those in, I have y equals -2x plus 4. And that's the equation of the line that I've graphed.